All right, what's going on, everybody, and welcome to the live Premier Collectibles signing of my new book, Dear America, Live Like It's 9/12. It was really cool today. We've been traveling around in certain places, going around and finding the book. Unlike my very first book, America 316, that we did, we self-published it ourselves. This one is through a publisher, and so it is nationwide. And the reason that we're doing this here today is because a lot of you have already ordered signed copies of the book, and that's what we're going to start doing here in just a second. We're going to start signing these things that go into the copies that you bought and paid for, and you have questions. That was one of the things for buying one of the signed copies, is you get to submit questions about the book, and I'm going to answer those. Also, this is to let you know that if you want a signed copy, you can go to Premier Collectibles. Is it premiercollectibles.com?
.com/Dear America.
Okay, premiercollectibles.com/Dear America. The link should be scrolling here or in the caption somewhere. So if you want a signed book, you can click the caption there or right here, premiercollectibles.com /Dear America. So first of all, let me tell you why I wrote a second book. I have a lot to talk about. I don't know how many of you guys know this or pay attention to me. I run my mouth for a living, and so it was just a natural kind of thing. I hope to one day, when I'm old and gray and I lose what hair I have left, I hope to have written multiple books. And, I didn't think that I would fall in love with book writing, but I did after America 316 and now Dear America, Live Like It's 9/12. I really enjoy writing books. There's just something about holding knowledge and insight. Well, I mean, some people might consider this knowledge. Some people might consider this, I don't know, firewood. Either way, the point is that, I really enjoy putting things down on paper, because at the end of the day, there is no question where I stand, what I think, and what I feel. And I'm very excited to answer your questions, but I really want to preface this before I do and say, I guess I need to start signing some of these things while I talk, that here, this is what it's going to look like when you have a signed copy. It'll look kind of like that. It'll be a little thing stuck in there like that. So that's my signature. That's what it looks like. It's not quite as bad as a doctor's signature, but it's pretty close. But that's just the way it goes. By the end of this book, especially those of you who bought America 316, I think you're going to see really stark contrast between the first book and this book. The first book was very much telling you the story of me, how I was raised, where I was born, what my life was like, how I got to the point that you even would be watching this in the first place. This book is much more in your face, the very old school Graham kind of thing. It's just bam, 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 hit you where it hurts. Truth, not my truth, not your truth, but the truth of things that you need to see and things that you need to think about and hear and feel. And so I'm excited. I think that this book will make you laugh. It will make you cry. It will hopefully motivate you to ask the real questions that need to be asked. But you got to go get the book to do that. So for those of you who have already purchased an autographed book, thank you so much. I've got a lot of signing to do, and this isn't even half of it. But for those of you who want a signed book, go to premiercollectibles.com /Dear America, or click the link in the caption, or it's scrolling somewhere around here as we speak. Noah, most of you know Noah. Noah is in the room, and he has a lot of the questions that you guys have asked. And let me finish this first little sheet here so you guys can get a good feel for what the autograph will look like. This is what it's going to look like inside your Premier Collectibles edition, the signed copies. I think these come with certificate of authenticities. Don't hold me to that. I'm not 100% sure, but you're seeing me right here. Bam, here we go.
That's your certificate.
What's that?
That's your certificate.
Yeah, this is your certificate. So take a screenshot of this right here. All right, so let's get into some questions. I really am excited. I'm excited for you guys to read this book because, well, Noah can't comment because Noah has not read the book yet, which I find the most insulting of everything. You know, you would think that the guy that is with me all the time would read the book, but he has not read it yet. But I'm excited for you guys to read this one because I really think that this book is important for the times. So there's a part in the book I want to read you really quick that I wrote this book before everything that's going on right now. Right now, our freedom of choice, our freedom to make our own decisions in America is being just destroyed and infringed upon. And in the book, I say, I'm giving you a choice. I've done it before and I'm doing it again because without free will of choice and thought, the whole point of America is moot. Literally put that in the book months ago. Wrote this book a long time ago now, actually. I had the forethought to see what is going on in our country and put it in here because Facebook can't kill this thing. Facebook can't censor this book. And it's ironic that conservatives have had to turn to printed books again to get messaging out that is deemed against community standards. But that's where we are. So again, I need to start signing because I'm going to be here all day. So Noah, what is our first question and who is it from?
Well, first of all, the first question is going to be Graham's question, and it does come with a certificate of authenticity.
Okay.
So,
all right. Well, there you go. Not only does the signature look like this, and it'll be placed in your book, it does come with a certificate of authenticity. So there you go.
Awesome.
Right.
So
now let's get to your questions, not my questions.
Yep, exactly. So Andrew from Manchester, Kentucky. Thanks for buying the book.
Thank you, Andrew.
His question for you is, so my wife and I were talking. She isn't into politics or history subjects as much as me. Your name and your position on an issue came up. She excitingly says, yes, I know him. I think I follow him. Shout out to Andrew's wife.
Yes.
She goes on to say, you would be who she would want to run for president. The question is, when are you running for president? You have 2 votes here from Andrew.
All right. So Andrew, when am I running for president? Let's take on Congress first and let's knock that one out. And let's see how that goes. I think that there are a lot more people far more qualified than me. You know, it's a weird thing. I don't think that anyone that wants to run for office should want to run for office. I really believe that with all my heart. I think that if you want those things, like people that grow up and you hear these, you know, these little children say things like, oh, I'm going to grow up and be president one day. Well, no, you know, maybe you shouldn't be president. Or people in college, you were like, I'm going to be president one day. No, maybe you shouldn't. I think that it should be a calling. I think it should be a sense of service to the country. I don't think it should be something that you grow up thinking, oh, that's what I'm going to do when I grow up, because those are the people that we don't need. We don't need those people. We need those people that have wise reluctance. It's not an oxymoron, is it? Right? Wise reluctance to take on such responsibility as that. Because there's nothing fun about it. There's, especially if you do it the right way and you're not part of the establishment, just swampy elite that's taking advantage of Americans every single day. There's nothing, you know, like fun about the job. Rewarding, yes. Fun, no. And so that's how I view this run for Congress. I view it as a service, again, to the country, just in a different way. Of wearing the U.S. Army uniform. And so to answer your question, I have learned to never say never, but I am not intending on that in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Let's win this congressional race first. All right. Thank you guys so much for purchasing an autographed copy of the book. All right, what's next?
So Bobby from Folsom, Louisiana asks,
what's up, Bobby? Thank you so much for purchasing the book.
How long did it take you to write your book? and what was the process like for you step by step?
Ooh, this is a good one. Noah was actually a part of this. So
Mhm.
Noah could actually um, read it one more time. What was the process of the book?
So how long did it take
How
and
long
what
did
was
it
the
take and what
process?
was the process? All right. So it took from the moment that I had the process down, it took about 4 months, I would say.
Mhm.
Right? And
Yeah.
then that sound about right. 4 months in between. So you guys all see all the stuff we do all the time around and touring and traveling here and traveling there. But what a lot of you don't realize is most of the time after we speak and things like this, everybody else, not Noah, Noah's a hard worker, but everybody, a lot of people go out and they hang out and all this other stuff. I'm always the loser that like goes back to my room immediately because I have all this other work to do all the time. And so it was about 4 months straight of constantly working on the book in between all the madness that is already my life. And now we're running for Congress as well. So it took about 4 straight months to write the book. Once I had it in my head, what it was going to be, what it was going to look like, feel like. And so Noah was actually with me when we did this. So I always have we have big whiteboards all throughout our offices here because that's just how I think about things. So in my first book, it was called Faith, Family, Freedom, Forever, right? So I broke the chapters down into like sub chapters, faith chapter, family chapter, faith, family, freedom. Oh, and the forever chapter. So faith chapter, family chapter, freedom chapter, forever chapter. Well, this one is very much about America in its current state and the attacks that we have going on in America. So I broke it down very similar in the same way here. So you've got the fall portion, you've got the divide portion, the ruin portion, and then the resilience portion. And so Noah actually helped me come up with those, especially the word resilience. That is definitely a Noah word. And so that was kind of the process there. And then once I had it down, I'll go ahead and I'll tell you the name of the chapters as well. Um, in the fall portion of the book, you've got chapter 1, which is be careful what you wish for. This is after the introduction. Chapter 2 is fear is contagious. And then chapter 3 is we are the virus. So you guys can see the directions that we're going. And again, it's very eerie to me, but in a good way, that I wrote these chapters this way. And now we are where we are as a country with the Delta variant and all this other stuff that's going on. It's very interesting that we chose very on. Noah helped me come up with the names for the chapters, and we went back and forth. And I was very adamant on we are the virus and fear is contagious. Uh, the part 2 chapter, which is the divide section, you've got division is a good thing, which I'm really excited for you guys to read that chapter. I think that chapter is going to be one that sticks out to a lot of people because most people hear that right off the bat and they're like, "Oh, division is a good thing," and they think not. But then when you read it, you're gonna be like, "Oh, okay, I see where he's going there." So I'm excited about that one. Chapter 5 is the problem isn't America, it's you. Which again, I think that one's going to make a lot of people upset, and I'm super excited to hear about it. The ruin chapter is, of course, chapter 6, All Lives Matter, which, as you can imagine, where that goes. Chapter 7, fact checks equal real power. With everything that's going on, the White House openly monitoring Americans' post on social media, the federal government monitoring Americans and flagging it for these big tech companies. I tell you the truth, the behind the scenes stuff that the everyday American doesn't understand about these fact checkers. And then chapter 8, Noah also was here. The name of this chapter actually happened in a speech that I gave by accident, and it's called Equality Doesn't Always Equal Being Equal. I'm excited about that one. And then the resilience portion is chapter 9, The Pursuit of Happiness, chapter 10, Uncensor America, and then, of course, chapter 11, Live Like It's 9/12. So that's the process, and that's how long it took, and that was the process of writing this book. So thank you for your question. Thank you for your purchase. And again, guys, if you want an autographed copy of the book, like I'm doing here, click the link in the caption here or go to premiercollectibles.com/Dear America and get yours right now. We got 1 week before the New York Times list comes out. So now's the time to go get it. All right, what's the next one, Noah?
So this is from Jennifer. I'm sorry, Jennifer. I don't know how to pronounce this place in Michigan. Sebelwine?
I have no idea.
Sebelwine, Michigan.
Jennifer from Michigan. Thank you, Jennifer.
Sorry that I mispronounced it. Thank you for your service and for standing up for the American people. Not a question, but I want to include that because that was very nice of her.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you very much, Jennifer. I appreciate that. All right. Questions, Noah. Questions.
Sorry. And then Aaron from South Jordan, Utah.
Aaron, thank you very much.
This is a great question.
Okay.
What makes you so passionate about freedom?
You know, that's a good question. That's a hard question to pinpoint, actually. I'll say this. I will say that I grew up in what you would imagine someone like me grew up in, a very small town, small town. I was raised by my grandparents. I like to joke that they raised me like it was 1930. In fact, there is my grandfather, unfortunately, just passed away right before the first lockdowns. He passed away. And so I like to say that Paul knew what was coming and he's like, forget this, man, I'm out of here. But he lived a long life, and I actually do a dedication to him in this book. What makes me so passionate, though, is not how I was raised. It's thinking about what kind of world my kids, more specifically, because my oldest son is about to be 11. And so, I sit here and I go, I not only have to defend them, but in 7 years, man, I mean, Gage is off to college at that point, which is insane to think about. But it's true. What about 10 years from now? I had my first child when I was 23. So think about that. So in 12 years, Gage could have a child. I mean, it's crazy to think about that, but it's true. I'll be 46 years old in 12 years and I can have a grandkid. And I have to think about, what kind of world are they going to grow up in? What kind of world, by the time I hit grandpa status, it's truly Gage's generation at that point. It's his turn to keep America, America. And what makes me passionate about it is, for some reason that is unbeknownst to me, I still don't understand it to this day, the good Lord saw fit to give me a platform to be able to speak to people. Why? I don't know. I listen back to some of the things I say and I think, why in the world does anybody listen to any of this stuff? And I don't really understand it. Again, this is what it looks like when you sign. But I'm not going to waste the opportunity that he's given me to do that. And so what makes me so passionate is because I believe that if you have the platform and you have the ability to be passionate, then you should be passionate. And I believe when we die, everybody knows I'm a Christian. I believe you're judged twice. I believe you're judged at the gate. Did you know the Lord? Did you love the Lord? Yes or no? It's that simple. And then I believe you're judged on, okay, well, what did you do with what the Lord gave you to be able to do? That's kind of how I live my life. That's kind of how I gauge it. That's kind of how so many people think I'm crazy all the time and I'm tired a lot and I do a lot of things because I do. I really like this world. Don't get me wrong. I like my life, but I believe that there's something after this, and I believe that we all have a purpose to play, and I'm going to play the biggest one that I can. So that's what makes me be passionate. Next question, Noah.
Awesome. So this is from Chris in Watervliet, New York.
Okay. Ooh, New York. What's up, Chris from New York?
Big day in New York today.
Big day in New York today. Cuomo is out of there, man.
Our freedoms are under attack more than ever, with
Correct.
some pretty much already surrendered.
Correct.
What is your message to all of us out there, the ones who refuse to be a part of this corrupt system, the ones who love this country and for what it stands for?
Well, first of all, I wrote this book for you. I really did. I wrote this book. There's a lot of people just like yourself. And the question that you just sent to me, you feel like you're alone. You feel like you're the only one who feels that way. This book is for every person who feels like the Aaron Lewis song. Am I the only one? Am I the only one that feels this way? I'm the only one that sees these things. Am I the only one that disagrees with what's going on? No, is the answer. No, you're not. You're not the only one. Somebody's got COVID over there. Anyway, the point is you're not the only one. And what do we need to do is we need people. I just said this on the show today. We need civil disobedience. And what do I mean by that? We need people who no longer say yes. We need people who say words like make us. We need people who say will not comply. We need those type of people every time. And if you work a job to where you're forced to fly all the time and things like that, I understand. I really do. But until this does not end, everything that's going on right now, the attacks on our rights, everything, none of it ends until Americans are willing to become uncomfortable for what they actually believe in. I'm going to say that one more time. I wish I would have thought about that quote when I wrote the book, but I didn't. This is new. This does not end until Americans are willing to become uncomfortable for what they actually believe in. So every time you put on that mask to get on a plane, you're complying. Drive, don't fly. Yes, it's inconvenient. Yes, it's hard on you. But every time you prove to them that all they got to do is make your life a little uncomfortable and you'll comply, they win. Every time you put on the mask to go into a store just so you don't have an awkward encounter, you're complying. Make them make you put on that mask, which I'm telling you right now, they can't make me do it. They're going to have to call the police, and the police are going to have to politely ask me to leave, and I'll leave. It is their private business. They do have the right to kick you out of there. But again, until we are willing to, as Americans, take on that battle, it's like if Ford tomorrow said every single person has to be vaccinated and 98% of Ford's employment force said, no, we're not taking it, you're going to have to fire us. Guess what Ford would do? They're not firing 98% of their workers because then Ford ain't making no money. But it's going to take that kind of stuff. So stay strong. You're not the only one. We are all in this thing together. And I believe that people are starting to stand up, man. They really are. And so anyway, next question.
Awesome. So this is from Mike in Butler, Ohio.
What's up, Mike in Ohio?
What are your plans for the country for our veterans?
I think we need veterans to be, I think we need more veterans to step up. I really do. I think we need more veterans in positions of management. We need more veterans, and we need more veterans to step up in leadership positions or elected positions. I don't even like leadership positions to call it that. Elected positions. City council, state rep, state senate, Congress, senator, governor, whatever it can be. It doesn't have to be on the gigantic scale. You want to affect change, which veterans understand the major principle of America. E pluribus unum, from many one, right? It's the main thing of America. Veterans understand that concept. They understand that when you put on the uniform, it's not all about you, it's about everybody that wears the uniform. They think a different way in that regard. We need more people that understand that it's not about what you think, it's not about what you feel or what you would like to do. It's about what's best for America, right? What's best for America. So I truly believe that we need more veterans that are willing to step out. And let me tell you, when I first started this, there's a lot of veterans who do not like me at all. There's a lot of veterans who do like me, a lot of veterans who don't. And it's really hard when other veterans talk bad about other veterans. It hurts us a different way. But once you get over that, you realize that they're just mad because you're doing the things that they're not doing. And so we need more veterans to step up. So my plan for veterans is to keep doing what I'm doing. I don't shove it down people's throats that I'm a veteran, because there's a lot of veterans who did a lot more stuff than I did. However, I am, and I'm going to continue to do what I do. and I'm going to continue to stand up, and I'm going to continue to speak no matter the consequences or the repercussions. And we need more people to do the same. So my plan for veterans is to empower veterans to stand up for what they actually believe in, what they think, and what they feel. Next question.
Awesome. So this is a complete layup. Andrew from Watkins Glen, New York.
What's up, Andrew from New York? Another New York.
How would the southern border crisis be worse and different if Texas had a Democrat governor?
Well, I mean, it's already a complete and total disaster. So apocalypse, maybe, is that a word that we can use? You know that scene from World War Z where they're like, all the zombies are like climbing up the freaking wall? It would be something proportional to that, I feel like.
So there wouldn't be a wall.
Except there wouldn't be a wall. They would just, I don't know, they would just be climbing over each other trying to get through the gate. I don't know. It is insanity what's going on our southern border. It is affecting every single state. You know, a lot of people go, oh, I can't believe what's going on down there in Texas. Well, it's going on everywhere. It's going on where you live. It's going on where I live. You know, we got an opioid crisis here in South Carolina specifically. Where do you think all the drugs are coming from? Hello? I mean, it affects everything. As long as our borders are not secure, every state becomes a border state. So it's something that we definitely have to get under control. And I hope that we'll get some elected officials that actually get some fortitude here soon that are going to do what they need to do to secure our border. Next question.
Awesome. This one's from Betsy in Oro Valley, Arizona.
Okay.
What's
up, Betsy?
What publications / websites do you use to get your daily news? And what are 3 good books that you have read recently and can recommend?
Ooh, this is good. Okay. So Mark Levin's new book is amazing. American Marxism, amazing new book. Mark Levin, the great one. I really enjoy, I'll give you one that I'm looking forward to reading. I'm looking forward to reading Tucker's new book. It just came out the same day as mine. Thank you, Tucker. I appreciate it very much.
He's on here next week.
Oh, is he on here next week? Okay, well, there you go. So Tucker's coming on here. I'm looking forward to reading Tucker's book. And then anything by Thomas Sowell, man, is really good. What was the rest of the question?
What publications / websites you get your daily news from?
All over the place. So the key is what I really like to do, and everybody knows this here. We have multiple TVs throughout the office, everything. I like to have it on OAN, Newsmax, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News. And I really love that they'll be talking about the same topic, but it's completely different ways across the board. And so we are in a very unique situation because we have the ability to reach out. You know, if you read something about Congress or you read something about the Senate or things that are going on in DC, we actually have people that we can reach out to that are actually there, that are actually congressmen or congresswomen or senators or working in DC that can help verify or debunk these things. There's not a lot of things that we can't reach out and touch if we need to. But, you know, National Review is a good one for those of you who are just out there. Newsmax is putting out some amazing stuff right now. Newsmax is not afraid to talk about some of the things that a lot of other people are afraid to talk about. Turning Point USA has got some really cool things going on with TPUSA Live. It's more opinion-based things, but it's still really good. Let's see, Breitbart, fan of Breitbart. And then, of course, you can go to grahamallen.com. for the obvious and best advice out there. Next question.
Awesome. So this is from Ava in Plano, Texas.
Ava, what's up?
If you had the ability to change the minds of all the Democrats about one political issue, what would it be?
I know exactly what it would be. And it's changing their worldview perspective. And I talk about this in the book. And so here is a look at how deep this book actually goes. My first book was really emotional. This book is actually really deep. What I would change about Democrats, and if you're watching this live feed and you are a Democrat, this is what I would change. I wouldn't try to argue with you about guns or the border or the Green New Deal or this or that or socialism or equity over equality or anything like that. I would change your worldview perspective of this utopian society that you all believe in. You see, Democrats believe, well, at least the non crazy ones believe, that a utopian society is possible. That's why they come up with these gun laws, and that's why they come up with this idea of universal health care and universal wealth, and everybody's equal and everything's like this, because they believe that this utopian place where people just will all love each other is possible. It's not, it's a lie. Never in the history of ever has that happened. It will never happen. And there will always be bad people who want to do bad things to good people. So even if Democrats are coming from a place where they're actually trying to help, their viewpoint is skewed because they're approaching it from something that is unattainable. It's not achievable. It's not able to be done. So what would I do is I wouldn't fight them on issues. I would fight them on their worldview, in understanding that just because you take guns away, bad guys are going to figure out how to get those guns, because utopian society is not possible. It's not doable. So that's what I would do. Next question.
This is from Jared in Charlotte, North Carolina. Where do you think free speech is headed in America?
Down the drain if we don't do something quickly. Where do I think free speech is headed? I think that we are on a very dangerous road with free speech. I think that if we don't drastically stand up, even for the people we don't like, see, that's something that even as conservatives, that we have to realize that as conservatives, we have to stand up for even the people we don't agree with, because the First Amendment was written for speech that you don't like. Everybody can agree on the fact of, children should be protected. Everybody can agree on that, right? Like, that's a pretty universal term. Don't hit women. That's a pretty universal thing that 99% of the population, I think, could get around. Children should not go hungry. Those are things that we can all agree on, that nobody's really challenging that. There's nobody in the corner going, well, not all kids deserve to eat. Like, nobody's saying that, right? Free speech, the First Amendment, was written and designed for questions. That's really what it was designed for people to question things, for people to have a difference of opinion, for people to make you angry. That's what the First Amendment was actually written to protect. And this all goes into my division is a good thing chapter. We actually talk about this very thing, that protected speech that makes people angry actually leads to progress, because it sparks debate. It sparks communication between two different sides that disagree on things. And so where do I think free speech is headed? I think that if we don't have political leaders that are willing to take on big tech, I think in the next 10 years, free speech is over as we know it in America. I think big tech is the single greatest internal threat that we face in America. And I think that that's why a lot of people are turning towards printed books again, because I think that that can help save America. It's turning back to books where it can't be monitored and controlled, what we're reading and the questions that we're asking, and the thoughts of what ifs that we're having. Thomas Edison would have got kicked off of Facebook. Hey, I think I can make this candle last forever. Fact check, false. You can't make candles last forever. Seriously. And he'd have got a third strike and he'd have been kicked off Facebook. So I think we're on a very dangerous course, but I do think we have the opportunity to correct it if we get elected officials that actually have some backbone, that are willing to take on big tech. Next.
This is from Kurt in Slinger, Wisconsin.
Kurt in Wisconsin. What's up, man?
First off, God's blessings and thank you for all you do.
Thank you very much.
Do you think the USA could ever fully go the way of a socialist economy?
I mean, I think anything's possible. I think if you look at world history, I think anything is possible. And thinking that it's not possible is what would lead to that very thing happening. Who was it? Ronald Reagan? We're only one generation away from losing our country. Don't fact check me on that. I'm pretty sure that's who it was. And I agree with that 100%. We need to fight for what we believe in. I mean, it's already starting to happen. This eviction moratorium crap that's going on right now, basically making it to where landowners are enslaved to the people that are renting their properties, but they're not able to pay their bills. But the landlords still have to pay the bills, or then they lose the property. But then the White House says that there's funds available, even though billions of dollars of those funds still have not been used to pay back the landlord. I mean, it's crazy stuff that's going on right now. And I think, we asked a question on the show, and this is actually in the book too. Ask yourself this is, and your internal answer will let you know how close we might actually be. If the government tomorrow said, we're going to guarantee every American, not a nice house, but an okay house, free internet, free phone, free car, not a nice car, but a free car. And we're going to give you $4,000 a month for the rest of your life. You're never going to be rich. You're never going to have the nicest things ever, but you don't have to do anything. You literally, and free healthcare. All you have to do is just exist. What percentage of the population do you think would take that deal? As you think about that, I would venture to say that it's a lot higher than a lot of us are comfortable with. I truly believe that one of the biggest threats to the upper class or the higher class, the actual blanket of freedom that protects America from the government, is the middle class. I believe that with all my heart. The middle class is what keeps America independent of the government. That's what I believe. So if you take out the middle class, i.e. small business owners, entrepreneurs, things like that, where a lot of you have jobs, then you have the higher class and you've got the lower class. And just like the Jim Bro who predicted this on that viral video, if all you have is the higher class and the lower class, well, you essentially have a slave class at the bottom. And it's the middle class of America that actually protects American independence from the government. If you wipe out the middle class, then you're left with true dependency on the government, which leads to socialism, which is governed by communism. Next question.
Awesome. This is from Kathy in Ashland, Ohio. What is the number
What's
one?
up, Kathy?
Kathy, yep.
Kathy, what's going on?
What is the number one thing the average hardworking conservative person can do to stop the downward spiral of America?
Civil disobedience. I mean, we are at that point. And again, listen to me when I say civil disobedience. We are there. Rand Paul literally just did a video about this. They can't arrest all of us. They can't kick out all of us. They can't fire all of us. Make us. 912 United here at the office here. We literally have a shirt, one of our biggest sellers that we've ever had. I think it's over there on that hat. Noah, make us. It's a motto that, look, here it is right there. Make us. It's a motto that literally needs to reign, through your mind. It's right up there with "Don't tread on me." Don't tread on me might have been one of the phrases that started us, but make us and will not comply. Those kind of things are going to take us to the next phase of America, which is not creating America, but preserving America. Make us. Civil disobedience. That's where we are. Next.
Awesome. So this is from Joseph. what issue in modern politics concerns you the most about the future of civilization and why?
Um, Massive misinformation campaigns, big tech, social media, uh, infiltrating the minds of our youth, indoctrination in schools. Get your kids out of public school. College is not what it used to be. It is not worth it unless you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer or something like that. Go to a trade school, learn a trade, because all these people that are going to college, there's an HVAC guy that's making six figures while you're in debt out your eyeballs for your bachelor's in liberal arts. Not downgrading what you chose to do. I'm just telling you the facts. This is the world we live in 2021. 20 years ago, you couldn't get a job that paid good money unless you had a degree. Nowadays, everybody's got a degree and nobody cares. I think that college universities are nothing but breeding grounds for young socialists now to come out and fundamentally change the world. I think that this whole illegal immigration thing is nothing more than to secure blue votes sporadically in the states that are decided by less than 400,000 votes. I think that that is fundamental, that there's a lot, there's more than just one. But misinformation, but not the misinformation that the left is trying to say. They call it conspiracy theories. And I love what Don Jr. said. He said, the difference between the truth and a conspiracy theory is about 6 months. Give it about 6 months and that conspiracy theory turns out to be true. Cuomo, prime example. There's literal videos right now going around of King Biden, as I like to call him, calling Governor Cuomo the gold standard. Trevor Noah and, oh, what's that horrible comedian's name? She's female, blonde-headed. Chelsea Handler calling themselves Cuomo-sexuals, etc. Everybody else was conspiracy theorists and spreading false information about Andrew Cuomo, and now he just resigned. Go figure. Next question.
This is from Lisa in Cedar Grove, Wisconsin. What time in history do you find to be the most interesting and why?
World War II. All day, every day. I'll tell you why. I write about this a lot in the book. World War II was, in my opinion, the last time that we've had where the true American spirit was there for a longevity of time. We saw it after 9/11, which is 9/12 United, which is what the company is all about. The day after 9/11, where the country came together as Americans. World War II is just a really interesting time to me because America saw an evil. They saw something that a lot of people nowadays would say, oh, that's got nothing to do with us. And yes, I realize that America was saying that for a long time too. But even after the attack on Pearl Harbor, I truly believe that today America would still be like, oh, it's got nothing to do with us, da, 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 da. But they knew, they saw it. They saw that this not only would affect the world, it would also affect, oh, by the way, I'm supposed to tell you that you can go to premiercollectibles.com/Dear America to, if you have not already, order your signed copy with a certificate of authenticity. Children were lying about their age to enlist in the military for horrible pay, horrible benefits. It's not like it is today. And the odds of them dying were astronomical. And children, like 15, 16-year-old kids, were lying about their age to go storm the beaches of Normandy because they knew that they had to protect good, something bigger than themselves. That is America. So that time frame is really interesting to me. And so I would really like to, if there was such thing as time travel, I'd really like to go back to that time frame and just have a conversation with some of those people. I've had a lot of conversations with World War II veterans now. I'd like to have a conversation with them when they were 16 years old, thinking about making that decision. That would be very interesting to pick their brain on. Next,
Awesome. Vicky from Woodbridge, Virginia.
what's up, Vicky from Virginia?
As a lifelong conservative, I have never been as interested in politics until now. I appreciate your honesty in reporting, but does it make you fear for your life and for your family? Please keep speaking out.
Does it make you feel afraid? But please don't stop. Sometimes, not so much for me, but definitely for the kids. My kids don't go to normal public school. Because they're indoctrination camps, and my kindergartner doesn't need to learn about HIV and AIDS in kindergarten. But B, just because, yeah, I mean, you just never know. You just never know. And so unfortunately it's that way. So yeah, sometimes, but that's just kind of part of it. That's just kind of how it goes. Next.
So this is from Aiden in Orlando, Florida. Hey Graham, my question is,
What's
as
up,
a
Aiden?
young conservative, what is the best happy medium with balancing standing up for your beliefs and biting the bullet while navigating the professional realm?
2 years ago, I would have said that there's a fine line, that nobody's asking you to go out there and lose your job. Nobody's asking for those kind of things. The truth is, I believe we're past that now. I believe that we are at that point where you have to decide, how much do you actually believe in what you claim you believe in? Are you willing to lose your job? Are you willing to make them fire you? Don't quit. Make them fire you. Are you willing to get kicked out of school? Don't leave. Make them expel you. Are you willing to do that? How uncomfortable are you willing to become for what you claim you believe in? So my advice there is, we are past the happy medium stage. The happy medium stage has gotten us locked down against our wills. The happy medium stage has had tens of thousands of small business owners, their entire lives gone. Our children will be working on fixing the education system for the next 10, 12 years, trying to catch back up. That's if they don't lock it down again. The time for the happy medium is over. So, I mean, yeah, that's not a popular answer, but it's the truth. So,
Awesome. So we got 3 questions left.
3 questions left, guys.
This one's from Cameron in Reno, Nevada.
What's up, Cameron?
How do we/you rise above the intolerance and vitriol?
But you can't rise above the intolerance. The intolerance is always going to be there. You just have to be able to take the brunt force of the intolerance and the vitriol. It's not easy, guys. It's not. I would be lying if I said that there wasn't days that I just want to disappear in just in my house, not leave, not get on the internet. There are days where, as conceited as this is going to sound, there are days that I don't want to be Graham Allen anymore. There just are. We go back to work just somewhere normal, or even just run 912 from behind the scenes and just get out of this stuff, man. But we don't need those people right now. We need the people that are willing to be uncomfortable. We need the people that are willing to take on the hatred and the bile and all the above. We need real people to stand up. And that's what we need. So my advice is, toughen up your skin, because it's going to be a long year and a half. It's going to be a long way to go. So, but America's worth it. Next.
This is from Don.
This is my normal life. You see all this craziness that goes on all the time while we're talking.
This is from Dawn in Lisle, Illinois. What do you think is the most disturbing current trend or practice in radio and cable television journalism?
Disturbing and current trends. I don't like what's going on with the sexualization of our kids across the board. The normalizing of just weird things that go on with our children. I don't like it. The constant literature that's being fed to our children as children's books and things, the constant making it okay and, transgender and things like that for 4 and 5 and 6 year olds and all this other stuff. I don't like it. I don't like that we normalize the abnormal. In fact, me and Candace Owens both at the same time did videos that pretty much said, it's okay to be normal. It's okay to be normal. It's okay to be not normal either, as well. This is America, but it's also okay to be normal. It's okay to be a heterosexual male that loves to hunt and spits chewing tobacco. That's okay. But they're the most attacked class in the world right now. White Christian males. Good Lord. I mean, what? You are the enemy of the state. If you were to ask Joe Biden, you're a white supremacist. White supremacist is freaking worse than Antifa, according to certain people. I don't like that. I don't like the blatant bias that they know is blatant bias, where Obama can have a birthday party and it's perfectly fine because they're sophisticated, right? That was literally the word they used. Oh, it's fine. They're sophisticated people. So therefore they must be vaccinated because they're so sophisticated. In other words, dummy, you redneck that would dare go to Sturgis, you're obviously going to be a super spreader because you're stupid and you're a redneck. And I'm allowed to say that because I'm a redneck. That's what they believe and that's what they think. BLM and George Floyd riots didn't do anything, but Trump rallies are super spreader events. Blatant hypocrisy that I honestly don't believe that most of the journalists that write it believe that stuff. I think that they know that it's garbage. I think that they just want a job. That's what I think. So that's what I think the most disgusting thing is. Is this the last one?
Last one.
Last question. Here we go.
This is a good one. This is from Eric in Prescott Valley, Arizona.
Eric, what's up?
If you could sit down with any 3 historical figures in no particular order and have them on your podcast, who would you pick and why?
American people, obviously.
Any people.
Thomas Jefferson, because he wrote the Declaration of Independence. I would love to pick his brain. Just because, he wrote arguably the most near perfect document that's ever existed outside of the Bible, right? I would love to pick his brain on the thought process behind that, the wordings of how he chose to word things, all the above. I'd love that. Abraham Lincoln, I know that sounds cliche, but not for the reason that you think. I don't romanticize things like a lot of people do, and I know that it was dirty and difficult, and politics were horrible, trying to end slavery, etc. I would love to pick his brain on, you want to talk about enduring hatred and vitriol and all that stuff. Talk to Abraham Lincoln in that regard. Now I'm going to be kind of cute for a minute. I'd love to talk to the security guards outside of Jeffrey Epstein's cell block. I would really love to have a conversation with them just to figure out, hey, what's going on? Just explain it to me. Explain it to me. I feel like a lot of questions would be answered just by, talking to them. Anyway, but on a more serious note, I guess if I had to pick a third in American, you know what? Martin Luther King. Absolutely. Martin Luther King. Because you want to talk about civil disobedience in the face of true hatred. Man, conservatives today could learn a lot from Martin Luther King. during the civil rights movement. I would really love to have that conversation. I think that would be something really, really special and really cool. So yeah, all right. I guess that's it, guys. That's the last of the questions. I've got a lot of signing to do. So again, thank you so much to those of you who have already purchased a autographed book. If you want to purchase an autographed book, go to premiercollectibles.com/Dear America. It should be all over here or in the caption somewhere. Click and go right now and do that. We've got 1 week before the New York Times bestseller list comes out. And it would be really cool for a redneck conservative like me to make the New York Times bestseller. So thank you so much for listening to me here on this. And I guess this is me signing off officially. So thank you guys very much, and I appreciate it.
Hey, this is John Acuff, New York Times best-selling author of 7 books and someone who's done a live signing. If you like the one you just watched, make sure you check out our YouTube channel. It's full of amazing authors having great conversations and signing books for viewers just like you. So make sure you subscribe, and thanks for watching today.